You guys works by now. I'm Dennys. Of course, I spent a good portion of Christmas here. I came here 2 or 3 times, I think. I think I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner here. And like I said, got to complain about the people here. They talked to me like I was a person, treated me like I was a person, accepted my money, and so one of the things with me being able to do what it is that I do, a lot of people are kind of familiar, but it's one of those things where people are kind enough to also not try barging in on my business or putting their nose in too much where it don't belong. Also, I make sure people are aware when I'm recording. I make sure I don't do this stuff when there's a bunch of customers or anything like that. A lot of that is because of the subject nature. Now, on a night like tonight when I'm literally the only customer here, not too big of an issue, and this is usually when I would prefer to be here anyway. But everything else was closed today, so the poor employees here had to deal with me a little more than usual. They were absolutely wonderful to me, and they were wonderful to a few other people too today. That's one of the things about people that work in the restaurant industry, people who work in fast food, people who bus tables. I mean, there are different levels. What we call dirt work. I mean, a lot of y'all don't realize that most of these jobs and positions were never meant to be full-time positions for grown adults. These were meant to be summer jobs for your kids. But now it's real difficult for your kids to be able to get a summer job. And also, we've got retirees that are being forced to work. I don't mean literally forced, at the end of a rifle or by whips and chains. I mean, with the cost of inflation and all of that, yeah, there's old folks getting hosed left and right. And then we got people saying, hey, the conservatorship thing, we got to get rid of that. It's destroying people's lives. But I got to tell you, somebody without a conservator is in a pretty screwed up situation too. One of the things that I complain on my channel is that it's difficult for people to hear me or understand. Just depending on the weather, depending on if it's windy, depending on if I have my vehicle going, depending on if my phone, if I set it down in something where it's soft and partially covers the microphone. There's all sorts of things that go into it. But with Girl Interrupted, she is going through something right now that I understand on such a fucked up level. And so did Natalie Bollinger, and so do many other people who are victims of predation. It's a breach of your child's trust to invite her predator into the household, or his, whether it's fucking Christmas or not. Whether it's the day before Christmas or the week before Christmas. Why would you keep somebody like that around? Now, many of y'all, and I'm not saying that Girl Interrupted is this person or that she's a cutter or any insinuations of that, but I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of those folks that I know, and it is a two-part system, much like when boys commit suicide. Boys are more likely to commit suicide than girls because they already know they're not going to get heard. They already know how they've been raised. They see how girls are raised. They see the disparity and the difference in gender and how we are treated. I try to look at it from a woman's point of view in a lot of things. But it's very rare for a woman to try to see it from a man's point of view. We've got a lot of people who try to advocate for us. People like Chloe Roma, who is what we need. I mean, she is a female who's fighting for our rights, kind of like John Brown being willing to give up his life as a white guy in America to help start a slave revolt that later turned into something called the Civil War. You might want to look up the story of John Brown and the March on Harper's Ferry Armory. Asking nicely didn't do the fucking trick. You know what did? Committing to action. It's just unfortunate that it was such violent action. Right now, we got so much hatred in this country toward Donald Trump. People are trying to hem him up for shit that ain't his fault and ain't his choice. That January 6th shit. I don't like Trump, alright? I'm not gonna pretend I fucking like him. He's a fucking moron. He's a fucking spoiled-ass rich bitch. But he didn't make those people do that shit. He didn't go fucking start some conspiracy with them and say, hey, I'm the president, Donald Trump, and I want you to raid the White House and try to get your dumbass shot. Just stupid. How about you raid Congress and try to get your dumbass shot? Yeah, that's going too far. Blaming a man for something he didn't do. When I say that Donald Trump is the only innocent victim in all this, I mean it. He may not be an innocent victim in his own life, but as far as the two people, that's right, only two people that I literally named and said that I would kill. Only two. Can you guess who those two people are? That's right, Ted Bollinger, after my grandmother's funeral, because him and Alicia were playing fucking head games with me. Got that recorded. Matter of fact, Laura Nelson was there for it, and Officer Jordan Anderson. It's recorded on my YouTube channel. Now we know that a betrayal of trust, and that's what neglect is. When you go to your friends and family, when you're being abused, anything other than helping you to turn it in right away. It's not help. The police are supposed to collect evidence. They didn't try to collect evidence. They made zero effort to collect evidence. None, no matter where it was at. Not here in Tillamook, not back in Hood River, not in the Dalles. Nowhere. They're open 24 hours on the weekend, but I'm heading out. Do you know why? Because I am fucking tired. I need to get some sleep, whether they're open and nice to me or not. And they are nice to me. And that's very much appreciated. On nights like this, I can get away with a little bit more than usual. But yesterday was Christmas, and they were very good to me. And I want to show that love and affection and thanks and gratitude as much as I possibly can. And I've been able to do that yesterday and the day before because of donations by human beings here in Tillamook, but it takes time to stand out there and accept that money. There's only a few good milk runs right up close to Christmas. If you're not a panhandler and you have to panhandle to try to make something, have some chance at having some life, people will generally kick down a few more dollars, anywhere from the 5 days preceding Christmas, sometimes as far out as 3 weeks preceding Christmas. But after Christmas, it gets pretty well dried up. People start getting frugal. The whole winter bullshit sets in. January shows up with no decent fucking holidays. We got all this stuff going on, don't we? Each and every one of us so busy with our own lives, and that's one of the ways that we're kept separated. That's one of the ways that we're kept from thinking a thought through to its conclusion. You're too busy running the rat race. And because you're too busy running the rat race, you want everybody else to be whipped into running the rat race, even if you're the one doing the whipping. Oh, well, if I have to do it, you have to do it. You sure about that? I gotta go in and pack up my stuff and make sure that I do get some sleep tonight. I'm glad they're open 24 hours here at the Dennys, and the people who were here earlier today, they brought people in from all over the place, just specifically to come to the Tillamook Dennys and be good to us today. And I don't know how to express to you what that really means to somebody who's in such a screwed up situation. You know, for me, waking up this morning, I'm stuck in this one little corner of Tillamook that's actually away from the town proper, because down here I'm less likely to run into people like Farnsworth. And I don't hold any animosity or hatred towards Farnsworth, but yeah, he is somebody who is mentally unstable and I have to be afraid of. And he's not the only one. The stuff that Molly was pulling, and it's recorded, and a lot of her other victims, a lot of the other people that she was like that to, you know, they're still here in town. I see him once in a while. I haven't seen Alexander in a while. He used to stop by my vehicle and give me snipes every so often. Anyway, I guess what I was trying to put forth here is sometimes you have to cut ties, and that's what I've been doing. And I give people a nice way out. I give them such a nice way out before I ultimately go ahead and basically do the equivalent of ground and pound, except on the internet. Instead of showing just little bits and pieces, it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Or at least so well as I'm able to get it to you. Also, I make mistakes, and I admit I make mistakes, and that is important. Now, when somebody comes out about their predators, and also includes those who neglected them, this is, well, for most of us here in the United States, we're taught since we're little kids that we're supposed to go to our friends, our family. We're supposed to go to a trusted adult when we're abused. That's what we're taught. But we also learn very quickly, if we try it, we get in trouble. Anyway, I'm going to end this video because I really want to get some sleep tonight, and I am exhausted. I got a lot more that I need to post up. During the day, it's not a good time to do it here. Only at night, and only depending on how many people are there and whether or not there's children present.
A lot of this stuff it's not appropriate. That's the whole point of people telling me to go to the library or go to Starbucks or, if there's a Denny's nearby, you can go there. Yeah, I know. I know those things. I also know the subject matter, and it is really scary. And a lot of people, between finding out what actually happened, where all they could really need to do is look at the evidence, right? That's not real complicated, especially if I'm there in person with the evidence there in person. With me paying attention to Girl Interrupted stuff, there's things that are not easy to do. Like telling yourself that you have to get away from people that you do legit care about, but they show that they care about somebody other than you a lot more. And it may be your mom, it may be your dad. Maybe it's somebody who's supposed to be your trusted friend, and they're bringing your predators into their household. Sometimes it's the dad, sometimes it's the stepdad, sometimes it's the next boyfriend, sometimes it's the mom. But the thing is, like I said, it's not the abuse itself from those predators that hurts us so much. It's the neglect from the people that we went to for help. We did the right thing. We followed the instructions. We went to who we were supposed to. And those people failed us. That's not our fault. You're going to tell us it's our fault. You're going to pull the mentally ill thing, mentally ill tag. A lot of people, they want to confuse borderline personality disorder with multiple personality disorder. They're not even close to the same thing. A lot of people want to compare Asperger's to mental retardation. It's not even close to the same thing. I suppose I should have an actual diagnosis, because mental retardation is not an actual diagnosis any longer, thank goodness. But autism is not schizophrenia. Autism is not delusions. Autism is not audio and visual hallucinations. Autism is not having your wires crossed. You're just wired differently. I want you to think about the USS Missouri, an Iowa-class battleship made in the United States of America. And then you think about the Yamato, a Yamato-class battleship built in Japan. Now, both of those had electrical stuff going through them, and both of them were completely different types of ships. They were both battleships. They were both huge. Both had big guns. Both had computers for helping to direct fire and re-aim the next shot. Both of them had automated systems for that, as well as hand dials, so you could make adjustments by hand if you so chose. The ones on the Iowa-class battleships were so accurate that even though they had computer-aided stuff that they could attach to the USS Missouri for shore bombardments in the first Iraq War, the Gulf War, back in the 90s, yeah, USS Missouri was sent out there to shell the hell out of it. And their fire was so accurate that they realized they couldn't do it more accurately, even with a computer. They're wired differently. The Yamato and the Iowa, both wired completely different. Matter of fact, even the Iowa-class battleships, the Iowa, the Missouri, Their wiring is even different. Sure, they were built on an original plan, but both of them throughout their lives have gone through different turmoils, different engagements, different upgrades. They're not the same ship any longer. They don't look the same. You might have a set of identical twins, and as they get older, they grow differently. One of them might want to go all natural and be into hiking and eating granola and shit like that. And the other one might want to cut her hair all butch and dye it hot pink on one side and dark red on the other, and put on real thick eyeliner and paint pictures on her face with mascara and wear black clothes with a whole bunch of neon highlights on them, and just different. And you don't see us that way. You don't see our differences that way. What you see is wives' tales that you've been told, assumptions from the ignorant. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper, and no victim left behind. And those people who neglect you, I want you to know that those people are just as responsible for your predator getting away, for your predator doing it again. Those people that you went to for help are just as responsible as the people who committed those acts against you. And that is according to the law. In most states, anyway. Because there's a whole new set of charges that go along with that, including aiding and abetting. See, the laws that these folks need to worry about isn't the mandated reporter laws. It's all the other laws they broke. They're felonies. They go right along the same lines. Stepping away from those who neglect you is a smart move. I approve.